right, I have returned. And now we have to figure out how this is supposed to work. So, a bit of a disclosure, I don't really have a plan for this other than, one, I wanted to have a mouse-based control over the paddle because I think that's going to be more fun. And two, I want to have, experience doing that. That might be useful for things. And then also, I know that there's this curve thing, this thing up here. I guess I point this way, right? Up there, that we can, do stuff with. I'm realizing it in the moment that the keyboard is kind of in the way of part of this, but the part that's under the keyboard is some sliders for min and max domain, min and max value, and bake resolution, which is number of points to include in the curve data. Okay, that makes sense. And then we have actual points, which are presumably these things. So the question is, how do we use this at all with the input from the mouse, right? So event relative x is okay, so let's look at relative. Relative says the mouse position relative to the previous position, position at the last frame. Since input event mouse motion may only be emitted when the mouse moves, it's not possible to reliably detect when the mouse has stopped moving by checking this property. Okay, but we don't really care about that. Relative is automatically scaled according to the content scale factor. Okay, so it's essentially relative to it's going to stay relative to the actual viewport coordinates. Is that what that means? This means mouse sensitivity will appear different depending on the resolution when using relative in a script that handles mouse aiming with the mouse mode captured mouse mode. To avoid this, use screen relative. Okay, so we're not really aiming. Or are we? I guess in a way a paddle being moved to intercept a ball is a kind of aiming. But we didn't turn on mouse mode captured. So I don't know. I guess the other thing is I don't know that multiplying by speed makes sense. But how would we use curve? I guess we would use curve to control the responsiveness of the mouse movement. So let's just try this as is. What does this do when I go new game and I move the mouse? Is it? Yeah, okay. It doesn't seem to affect the mouse at all, actually, because the number's too small. So I think what I can do is I could do something where I do input relation dot. I want to call a method on this, right? To I don't remember what the name of the method is, but I might know it when I see it. Get points? No, it's not anything to do with points. It might be get. Let's just. Is it interpolate? Okay, interpolate is a method. I don't know if it's a method on this class though. Let's read what is curve. A mathematical curve. This resource describes a mathematical curve by defining a set of points and tangents at each point. By default, the range is between 0 and 1 on the x and y axes, but these ranges can be changed. Please note that many resources and nodes assume that they are given unit curves. A unit curve is a curve whose domain, the x-axis, so the x-axis, is between 0 and 1. Okay. Can we look at the definition of a curve? Well, we can look at its doc. Here we go. So it has some properties, one of the things we were seeing in the UI, or I was describing the UI because we can see it because the keyboard wasn't up. We have some constants, we have some signals, and we have some methods. Sample is the one I think I was looking for. Returns the y value for the point that would exist at the x position offset along the curve. Right. So if the domain is between 0 and 1, that means the value that we need to pass the sample should be about a value between 0 and 1. Mouse x is not going to be. So I guess what we need here is we need a factor that we're dividing this. Actually, let's do this. Let's, before we start doing anything else, let's just print, what does mouse x look like? Hey, Death Row. How's it going? All right, so we're getting negative and positive values. We're seeing like 28, 29, negative 29. I could probably make a bigger value if I just like yank the mouse one way or the other, so to speak. Just waking up. Well, good morning. Yeah, nope, forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, well anyway. So if we have this sort of, let's do this. Let me think here really quick. Okay, so let's do var mouse max movement, and this can be a float, and we'll make it like 30. And then I think what we can do is we can var movement equals mouse x over mouse max movement. We want this kind of relative value, and we want to, hold on, can we do the min of, how do we do that? Maybe clamp. Yeah, over, there we go. So excuse me. So clamp takes a value and a min and a max, right? And so we say that mouse x cannot be less than negative 30. It cannot be greater than negative 30. If it is, it's either negative 30 or positive 30. So we constrain that to that value, and then we divide it by 30 so that movement becomes a value that is between negative 1 and positive 1. And then what we want to do is then change our domain to be negative 1 to +1. And then oops, don't want to add another point. And then the value can be -1 to +1. This curve doesn't mean anything yet. I'm just like making a thing. The point is like we have some kind of way of cannot infer type of mouse X variable because the value doesn't have a set type. Surely that's not true. It's a float. Event.relative.x is a float, yes. Cannot infer the type of movement variable because this value doesn't have a set type. Okay, well, whatever. So what I wanted to do, what I'm thinking that will be cool to do, is we do input relation, then interpolate movement, and then we don't multiply by speed. Maybe we do. So let's see what this does. This is gonna be not right, but I think this is gonna give us the control we need. Oh, it's not interpolate. We already established what it was. I don't know why it's what was it? What was the name of the method? Anyone? We had it in the doc here. Sample. It's called sample. So I'm kind of on the fence on whether I want to multiply by speed here or if I want to bake in that factor into the curve. Right, because I should be able to do that, right? Of just like, if I look at this, I can set, okay, hold on, it's not legible. You made a Brick Breaker game for a game jam, yeah? I did Let 'em Dare one time, but the sort of like you have to do it all in a weekend kind of thing just doesn't fit very well for me. Just because it's just not my sort of thing. It's not my jam, right? Of like spending 12, 16, 24 hours on something. Like this sort of thing, like the project that I was working on before this, which was the glowing telegram project that I worked on for like over a year, was something where the majority of the work for that project was like 3 hours on Sunday. And then I sprinkled other, additional stuff on it here and there, but I feel like less is more sometimes. Anyway, yeah, so we have this like min and max values on the curve. So I could change the min and max values to be like -300 or 900 or whatever the speed was, 900. So it could be like -900, +900, and we could set that kind of the relationship between the relative mouse movement and how fast the paddle goes, just in the curve. Or I can just leave this as negative on +1 and just multiply it by speed, which is better. I don't know. And then Mars says, I thought I did as well, but I didn't place well, and it messed with me mentally. Oh no, I still haven't been as motivated to work in projects as much, and it's been 6 months. Huh. Well, I don't think, was that your first game jam that you did? Because I mean, just participating and practicing is is kind of its own reward. Yeah, yeah. All right, so I was supposed to be moving the mouse to see. Yeah, and it's doing nothing. Why is it doing nothing? Oh, right, no. We're setting the X velocity. Do we? Thinking, right? So when we provide an input, like move left, move right through the keyboard, that sets the X velocity. And then what we do is, if we're not using the keyboard, then we are ramping down the X value towards 0 every frame by an amount that is speed. This value is going to be -1 to +1, which is not that dissimilar from what we're doing with Git Access, right? -1 to +1. Okay. So, what does it mean? Maybe I need to have a separate variable that I'm setting in input. And then if that is set, I'm not sure. Let's do this. Let's just disable the keyboard-based movement and see what that does. Right, so we will no longer use the controls, move left and move right, that we set up and use input Git Access. We won't use any of that. Nothing else will change velocity except for input. Okay. Hey, it works. That's weird. I mean, part of this is like, yeah, okay. Part of this is why we need to capture the mouse, is so that we don't see the so that things like that don't happen. Like once the mouse leaves the window, it stops being an input. Also, not very responsive. Can I change the curve live? So the X is the domain, right? So like if the mouse is moving right, it's moving towards -1, and how fast it does that would be like that. Nope, did not want to add another point. Nope. Nope. Oh, I see. There's a degree, huh? So we do like 45. Oh, sure. Then we end up with something like that. So if we aim like it's -7. Oops. 70 and negative 70, we end up with like a bit of a dead zone in the middle. I guess I could just add a point in the middle, couldn't I? If I wanted to be precise, I could expand the points list. This would be 0, 0. Negative 1, negative 1. Okay. Now, what does that actually have an effect on the behavior of the mouse? I don't know. That essentially means that it dampens small movements and amplifies large ones, is I think the idea. We do need anything about how we need to use the capture mode, but we need to do that when the game starts. Ooh, maybe where's the code that does that? Is it in main? Or is it in the menu code? Maybe start game. That work? We have a handle on the So suppose that we said on start button, we're gonna call, or we're gonna set input dot mouse mode to be captured. Or confined. What's the difference? What is mouse mode confined? Confines the mouse cursor to the game window and make it visible. Okay, we don't... Actually, there's a thought. Captured? Confined hidden? Or captured? Let's just try this and see what happens. We're learning. So at least I can use the mouse here, and we do new game, and then the mouse is captured. That does not feel right. I mean, granted, I am using this thing. Actually, no, that's not too bad. I wonder what it would be like with a normal mouse. Hold on. Oh, and then I don't get my mouse back, unfortunately. So let's add some things really quick. Let's just continue this exercise a bit. So when the game ends, actually, one more thing before we move on. Let's see here. So if I start a new game, the mouse is captured. If I hit escape, yeah, we need to uncapture the mouse here. So when we pause the game, okay, and then when we unpause the game, we'll put that back. Okay, now let's restart. Okay, hey, look, I have a mouse again. That's good. All right, I wanted to see what this was like with the normal mouse. Resume. Okay. Weird. Very, very weird is the answer. Yeah, so maybe not. I can't just say enter there. Oh, and the mouse is still captured. And things are broken. Awesome. Okay, this may be an experiment to revisit later. Yeah, I think in the context of the things I want to do down the road, this sort of like direct mouse control over things is not something I really need. Like we might like do like controller support, but this sort of thing is less important than just like playing around with curves, because I think there's a lot of things that this sort of like being able to map values and being able to like, oh, well, we want this to happen, you know, have weird behaviors like this could be really fun. But yeah, otherwise, no. Clear? There we go. And then we're just gonna... Are we just gonna revert everything? Maybe. Yep. It all goes away. Yay, version control. Reload from disk. Alright. So we're back to where we were. Now, granted, I could still use curves with the input from the keyboard, right? Because what we get from calling input.getAxis is, in fact, it's just a number between -1 and +1. So that could be mapped through a curve to give us something. But I don't think that's the only way to do that, right? I think we can... Is there something inside of input map? Well, there's dead zone. I don't think that would be applicable for this though. No, maybe not. Okay, never mind. But yeah, we could definitely have like a curve that translated the input, right? So that I don't know that gets you anything though, right? Essentially, the movement here is either we're moving we're moving left fast, or we're moving right fast, and there's no transition. Maybe that's the issue. So, like right now, when we're might take a minute. When we're providing input, we're just setting the velocity of the paddle, right? Oh, yeah. Oh no, what have I done? But there's not a way to set like what do we even do there? Oh, there we go. Yeah, level 2. Behold level 2. It's a mess. I just threw some shapes on there so we'd have something different going on. It is you know, there are worse games. Yeah, exactly. What happens here? Returning to main menu, it says. That's not what should have happened. What happened here? What do we have going on here? We have a main... Okay, so game scene is hidden. Game menu is visible, but all the menus are hidden. That's weird. What happened? Also, what changed here? Oh, I see. We fixed the line ending or something? Okay. So when we hit game over... no, when we... Maybe something weird where I need to reload the project or something. Not sure about that. But okay, anyway. Bugs. They exist. Alright, use curves for inputs to nodes. Well, we sort of did that. We made levels, as I've shown. Again, high score list. The whole template repo thing, we will think about. Yeah, let's think about that. So the idea with the template repo was to take the things that we're carrying forward between these projects and have like a GitHub repo that's just like, here's all the things for my Godot projects as I roll forward, and then I just improve the template as we learn more and we build out more things, like more UI options, those sorts of things, right? Better like key mapping stuff, or adding the ability to switch between full screen and windowed, and being able to switch resolution, and all those sorts of things, right? So we can either do that, or we can start working on Minesweeper. Maybe if we're going to start a new project, maybe we should just do the template repo, right? So how are we doing a template repo? I guess what I'll do is I'll take the Breakout clone repo, I'll make a clone of it, and we'll cut out all the things that are specific to Breakout, and we'll just have like a bare project, and I'll push that up into a new repo. Maybe we'll do that way. That seems like not a bad way of going about doing that. And that way I'll just be able to clone that, I'll be able to use that template to work on our Minesweeper game, which will be a bit different, but I think the UI stuff will be usable. And then there's stuff that we didn't really look at during this project that is in here. No, it's not in here. It's in the other project. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we'll need to do. But okay, let's do that. So first of all, I don't see any changes here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close Godot. Goodbye, Godot. We're gonna work in VS Code. We're gonna ditch whatever these random line changes are. And what do I want to do? What's in the .godot directory? Scene groups cache, empty. Okay, this is all get ignore stuff, right? Okay, cool. So I'll just ignore all that. Ignore that error. Let's see here. How do I want to go about doing this? Let's only I could type. Someday I will be able to type. So we're gonna make a Godot template folder. Oh, I see. Oh, right. I was confused for a second, but of course, yes. This is not inside of WSL. Okay, that's fine. Godot template. All right. Yeah, trust me. So thinking about, if I'm establishing some structure to kind of roll forward, I probably want to think a little bit about how things are set up. So let's make a README. Ooh, no. Let's say .github workflows. Sure. I really like that. Yeah, there you go. Do I have a .editor config? Copilot is doing a really good job of making up things for me to think about, which is really, what I like about like these AI tools is not so much, oh, it's going to do a bunch of things for me, because often it's just wrong. In the worst case, it's wrong in really subtle ways that are hard to catch. But when it's like just suggesting stuff, it's very helpful to be like, no, I don't want that. What do I actually want? So we have probably want a theme for a folder for theme, a folder for shaders. I made this materials folder. It's just the material for the shader. Do I want like I like having the theme separate from the UI, because the UI will potentially just use the project default theme, and then I can set the project default theme to the theme. They're kind of separate things, and that's what I like. If I'm not changing things together, I don't want them to live together, is I guess the thinking there. Not all games are going to have levels. I think I want to have like audio or music or fonts or other assets in an assets folder. Are shaders are not assets, I think. Maybe. I'm thinking like binary files versus like code. Docs? No. Shaders inside of materials? That sort of makes sense. Scenes? Yeah, we won't go as far as defining any other. I gotta just copy and paste the characters there, because scripts, game. I'm not gonna include like a player or any of that stuff, because that's overly specific. So scenes and scripts. That's kind of a thing that I avoided dealing with here. Is like I just have like all of the different Godot scripts and all of the different scenes mixed in here. I probably want to keep those separate. Did I list a license file? project. Is it Godot.project? No, it's project.godot. Like the game manager. Like there's nothing in the game manager that is going to be really applicable to every game, but we could make the script. Right? And then that can be set as an auto load on the project. Just empty. We already have the good ignore. What about theming UI? No, PQR, ST. Is there a theme.trout? What is in the theme folder? Yeah, theme.trout, sure. And then we'll do a UI. And then various things in UI. I'm not sure if I want to bother listing everything. It's like a menu.tscn. No, I'm not really interested in listing every single file here. So we'll do that. Something like this. All right. So for some things, we can just copy. Just copy what we have. And we'll have to fix it up, right? Because it has things that are not necessarily relevant. Yeah, just ignore. Yeah. What else? Just gonna make a. I guess we'll start making the folders, right? GitHub. Or, hold on. What I should do is I should open the other project. Open recent. New game project, I think, is the Pong game that we made first. We have oh, okay. I'll just copy the file. Folders, work, flows, paste. I'll make the README match what we're actually doing here. Export is going to be place folder name. Cool. I don't think I have anything specific to the project inside of this. That's what the environment variable is for. Do I really want... I probably want to make this so that... pushes on main branch and pull requests to main is where this runs. That's probably more accurate. So that, for context, is a GitHub action workflow that will build the Godot project for Windows and for Linux and for the web, and it will upload it into GitHub as an artifact, which we didn't do for the Breakout clone, but it was something that I had built off stream for the Pong one, because I wanted to play around with what if I wanted to publish a game on itch, and what does that look like? And I was like, okay, well, I can upload things. The next step on this would be to actually make it so that I could issue a release in GitHub, and it would publish the release to itch, which it would be a next step beyond what we have here so far. I don't know. Did any of these projects have a VS Code settings? Okay, sure. Oh, did I close the other? I guess I closed the other project. I opened this one. So there you go. Let's go back to our Breakout game. Let's ignore those other folders. Nothing to see there. Okay, all right, I didn't do that. Okay, so I think for now I'm just gonna skip worrying about the .vs Code folder. We're gonna make a assets. It's not how you spell assets. Fancy icons. All right, and I'm just gonna make all of these folders, and we're gonna make a .keep file. We're gonna create another folder. It's images. I just copy this, and then here we go. Cool. All right, this is not inside WSL. It's like if this was Linux, I'm pretty sure I know how to bulk create a bunch of folders in a single command, but not for PowerShell. It's okay. We can do some clicking. Fonts, images, models, sure. Will probably eventually be a thing. Music, sounds. Textures. No fancy icon for textures, huh? What's the difference between textures and images? Use, I guess? I don't know. Seems fine. Materials. Shaders. Scenes. Scripts. Theme. Probably just copy theme, yeah? Copy. Paste. Copy the UI. I guess if I want this to, okay, let's add game manager.gd. Am I going to kind of roll forward the high scores thing? I guess so. At least enough to not break the UI elements that we're copying forward for high scores. Yeah. This needs to be here anyway because we set the game manager as an auto load. And then the mixer and key binding stuff in the UI is also in here. that's auto-loaded, so that's fine. Totally fine. What else are we making? So there's a main script here. Which we're going to strip down, but I'm going to copy this over. So, game over scene goes away. This stuff all is fine. It's inside of the main scene. We're going to get rid of the game manager, game over connect stuff. Maybe. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to game menu show, game scene hide. Yeah, we'll do that for now. And then this is all having to do with like pausing and unpausing. So that should be fine. Yeah, basically this is all the logic that kind of is the interface between the game itself and the main menu and all the like menuing stuff, the UI stuff. So this will still be applicable probably to a lot of things. All right, so we have a main scene. Probably want to copy that main.gd, that UID into here. Do we want to do the same thing for the game manager? Maybe. I think the idea is these provide the unique identifier across like the game tree for the files that they have a similar name to. This is all just like impressions, right? From seeing them there. I should probably go read docs on it at some point to know definitively what it's all about. So we have a main, okay, so that's what we copied. Copied that. So we have a main scene. We're gonna copy. We're gonna put it into our scenes folder. And then we're gonna kind of review this to make sure that there's nothing that right, so this game scene, or game over scene goes away. We're not passing that into main anymore. So that's good. Well, I see. So there's also a game scene that this refers to. Let's update paths to things. And we're gonna also copy the game scene that we're gonna gut. We're gonna gut this. So we get it in place. And so we're just gonna get rid of everything. I'm gonna have a node and nothing else. I just want a very simple kind of placeholder scene for use in a template, right? What we'll have to do at the end of this is actually open the template in Godot and see what I've broken. All right, what else is supposed to be in here? We have this, we have theme, we have UI elements. We need to copy our license over. So I'm using the AGPL 3.0 license for these projects, FRO General Public License, for reasons. And then we have a project file that we already copied over. So, .gitignore. Probably want that. paste. Cool. And then we just do git init dot, and we will commit this. Okay, initial Godot project template structure and core functionality. Yeah, sure. Commit all that. Let's see. Things I want to do. Git branch. HB main. Or git checkout. I know git. All right. Well, we have to take a break here anyway, because Twitch wants to run ads. So we're gonna take a break. I will be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll see how broken this template is, and